Hey y'all, so today is Monday, and on Mondays we talk about books. And this is my series where I talk about books which have inspired me and motivated me in my own craft along the way. And today I'm going to talk to you about two different books. The first one is Voodoo Dolls in Magic and Ritual by Denise Alvarado. And then the next book is sort of a companion or follow-up book called The Voodoo Doll Spellbook by Denise Alvarado. The first book, Voodoo Dolls in Magic and Ritual, this one came out in 2009. This other one, the Voodoo Doll Spellbook, came out in 2010. So, uh, the first book here is more like a history of how voodoo dolls were used in the past, the theory behind them, such as sympathetic magic, things of that nature. It has lots of pictures in here. Hold on, let me find some better ones. I know it covers types of dolls. Here we go. Let me turn. It has lots of pictures of different kinds of dolls, as you can see here. Lots of pictures, and I believe there's one or two patterns in here as well. The teacher see I'm still going through. All these are different types of dolls. Here's a chapter on how to make dolls. Here we go. Here's a couple of patterns that you can use to make your own. A couple of more patterns. Directions for basic stitches when you go to sew it. And then here's a step-by-step instructions from beginning to end on how to make a doll. It gives you different ways to use poppets, how to make a paper voodoo doll, more patterns, how to prepare your doll for ritual use. And then we get into some spells and prayers for different things, how to use them as a focusing tool, the meaning of the pins, which are often stuck into the dolls. And then we get a chapter on spells and rituals, how to use your doll. We have gamblers, gossip, justice, love and attraction, wealth. Then we have a chapter on using the Psalms in your spells, and keep going. We have a chapter on prayers to use when petitioning spirits with your dolls. So different prayers to saints and spirits and God. And then we have a really great chapter on cursed voodoo dolls. It tells you how to sort of recognize them, what they look like, some meanings. For example, do you know what it means when your doll like this doesn't have any feet? You'll find out in this book. How to get rid of a cursed doll, how to reverse spells, and then finally the last chapter is recipes for magical oils that you can use with your dolls. And so this book came out in 2009. I met Denise online in 2010. It had to be when she was writing this. I keep calling this a sequel or a companion. I don't know if that was planned or just the way it turned out, but I think of this as a sequel to that book. This is the Voodoo Doll Spellbook. She had to have been researching this book because the way we met was I was an avid blogger back in 2010. I wrote every day. Usually I would take something that happened to me that day and write about it in a magical way, or I would write about past experiences and reminiscences. And so I had written a spell called A Doll to Trip Up Thieves. And I guess she was researching this book, and she came across that spell in my blog and wanted to use it. So I think it was in October of 2010, she sent me a message and basically told me she liked the book, the spell, she wanted to use it in her book, and I agreed to let her publish it in her book. Now that spell, this is going to be a story within a story. Now that spell I had learned a long time ago, back when I was still living in South Carolina. My friend, the woman I told you about in another video who got me involved in the pagan prison ministry, She was a very public witch. People generally knew her. She got involved in local politics, so she was kind of well known around town. There was this family that moved into our town. I believe they were from India, or they were Indian, and they bought a local convenience store. And so she was talking to them one day. It was well known that she was a witch and she practiced witchcraft. And they had asked her for a doll to hang up over the door when you come into the store to prevent shoplifters and or people trying to steal gas or whatever. And my friend, she was not really handy with the needle and thread, so she asked me to make the doll. So I made the doll and I designed what herbs and things would go in it, and she gave it to the people. And then you would go into this store, and as you probably didn't see it coming in, but as you're going out, there was this doll hanging upside down over the doorway. And then here's the spell on page 155, and you can see a doll here, and it's called a doll to trip up thieves. And so anyway, that's how Denise and I met, and how my spell came to be in this book. Now this book is way bigger than the first book. Like I said, this book is more theory, how to, and then at the end there's some spells and oils and prayers. This book really expands on that in that respect. This book is loaded full of spells, rituals, prayers, oils, everything that you need to practice any type of doll magic or work with voodoo dolls. There are, give me a second here, 21 chapters in this book, and each chapter is associated with a different type of spell. At the beginning there's some basic information, but let's just go through how these are divided up. Banishing and uncrossing spells, curses, hexes, and spells for revenge, dream dolls of antiquity, bend over spells, spells for love and romance, I know that's popular, binding spells, breakup spells, money spells, business and employment spells, better business spells, court case spells, spells for good luck, success, and gambling, health and fertility spells, spells for power and domination, spells for protection and counter magic and defense, spells for self-improvement, wishing spells, Japanese voodoo spells, goetic rituals, and finally the last chapter is called A Little Lang, I believe that word's a Lang Nap, I don't know how to say that word. And then there's a section on resources and a bibliography. So as you can see, if you need a spell, this book probably had it. It is chock full of all kinds of information on different spells, different ways to use dolls, lots of prayers, oils, everything. And as I was looking through this book to sort of tell you a little bit about it, I had forgotten myself. I have actually 3 spells in this book. Of course, there's the one to trip up thieves, and then there's another one that I'm going to read to you as sort of a sample. And yes, I'm choosing one of my own spells because I'm the one making this video. This is called Carolina Dean's Basic Protection Spell. And to work this spell, you will need a doll made in your own likeness, a clean white handkerchief, spring water, and kosher salt. First, take a clean white handkerchief and soak it in spring water, to which you have added half a cup of kosher salt. Let the handkerchief soak in this salted water overnight during a full moon. The following day, gently wring out the handkerchief and place it outside where it will dry in the clean air and sunshine. When the handkerchief is completely dry, take a doll baby that represents you and wrap it in this handkerchief. Place the handkerchief wrapped doll in a safe place. If you choose, you can enhance this ritual by lighting candles and incense, chanting, reciting prayers, and so on. But this is not required. Symbolically, you have surrounded yourself with the white light of protection. In more practical terms, however, the residual salt left in the handkerchief will act as a shield against any spells, hexes, or jinxes thrown in your direction. So that is a basic protection spell written by me, which you can find in the Voodoo doll spellbook written by Denise Alvarado. It is a sequel or companion piece to Voodoo Dolls in Magic and Ritual, also by Denise Alvarado. And you can find these books on Amazon, and you may even be able to find them on creolemoon.com, which is Denise's website. That's CREOLE Moon, MOON.com. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope these books intrigue you. Do you own these books? What do you think about them? Anyway, until next time, as always, make good decisions, be good people, do good things.